guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natasha if you are new here, and I am currently 20 weeks pregnant and am a mum to a toddler who is, she'll be 2 in June, so she's currently about 21 months. And this video is going to be my 20-week pregnancy update. I haven't been doing these updates weekly because I just don't feel like there's enough to say every week. But I did a first trimester update, so if you missed that one, go and check that one out. And I'll be doing one at 20 weeks. I'm not entirely sure when my next one will be, but I'll definitely do a second trimester one and a third trimester one, and I'll probably do a couple of updates in my third trimester and kind of pregnancy related videos because there'll be a bit more obviously going on then. I've got a list, so hopefully there won't be anything that I forget to tell you about. So as of today, I am 20 weeks and 5 days pregnant, and I've waited to do this video towards the end of the week because I had my appointment on Thursday. I had my scan and I also saw the doctor, so I wanted to have those appointments before I made a video. The scan went really well. The baby is healthy and everything is fine, it's growing fine. We didn't find out the gender. We chose not to. We had a surprise with my daughter as well, and we really enjoyed having that surprise, so we just decided again that we would have another surprise. So we don't know if this baby is a boy or a girl, and really I have absolutely no inkling this time round. With Miriam, I was absolutely convinced that she was a boy, and I was quite surprised when she came out and she was a girl. But this one, I really just don't know. I was a little bit disappointed with the scan because it was just super quick. Usually you're in those scans for like a good half an hour, and I was probably there for 15 minutes. The sonographer seemed really rushed, and she kind of did her checks and did the scan and kind of measured and did like 1 or 2 pictures, and then even the pictures she kind of said, do you want 1 picture? And I said, oh, could I have 2 or 3 pictures? And she was like, well, they're just going to be exactly the same, we can only take profiles. And I said to her, oh, can I get one with the hands in or the feet in? She's like, no, this is the only pictures we do, which was a bit funny because I think most sonographers aren't like that. I was a bit disappointed, but the good thing about my pregnancy is because I start off with a low BMI, I get growth scans later on. So I have another scan at 28 weeks, 32 weeks, 36 weeks and 40 weeks. So it won't be the last time that I'm seeing this baby, because the scans are honestly one of my favourite parts of pregnancy. I really love seeing the baby and seeing it move and things like that. Talking about baby's movements, I have been feeling baby move. It's very light. My husband can't really feel it outside of my tummy yet. So it's just me feeling it kind of move around and the occasional kick, and sometimes if I bend down or stretch in a certain way, then I feel this big jolt where it's kind of like turned or rolled over or something like that. And the movements are quite different from when I had Miriam, but then I remembered that with Miriam my placenta was at the front, so the feelings were quite just different. Although I did get them earlier with Miriam, which I thought I'd get them earlier this time because it's my second, but the movements are just actually really gentle in comparison to what I remember with Miriam. I'm getting really out of breath talking, I need to slow down. So I just wanted to give a quick update in terms of having hyperemesis gravidarum. I'm still on Ondansetron and prochlorperazine 3 times a day. I will probably be taking those for the whole of the pregnancy. I did last time, and I don't know how much they're helping, but I'm too scared to come off them, so I'm going to stay on them. I'm also on 25 milligrams of steroids, which weaned from 40, so I was on 40 milligrams and I've weaned down to 25, and now I've been on 25 milligrams for about 3 weeks because I started to get an increase in nausea, and I just wanted to be at a level where I was able to cope, go out and feel nauseous but be able to live a normal life. So I paused the weaning, which my doctors were happy with, but now they want me to wean again, which I'll explain in a minute because I'm having problems with my blood sugars. But I'll talk about the hyperemesis first. In terms of my actual symptoms with the hyperemesis, it is much better than it was in the first trimester, much better than I was in my pregnancy with Miriam. With Miriam I was really sick all the way through, I was vomiting all the way through. I've not actually vomited since being on steroids, so that's like 10 weeks without vomiting, which is just incredible. I never got that with Miriam, I was sick every single week. I'm having nausea every single day, but I'm having breaks in the nausea, so I'm not, with Miriam I was feeling nauseous 24/7. Like the only breaks I got were kind of when I was sleeping. Otherwise I felt low level nausea all the time, and then it would increase to the point where I'd vomit, whereas in this pregnancy I'm getting nausea 3 times. I am getting periods of nausea throughout the day, but it's just completely manageable because I know I get those breaks and I know that it's temporary. I'm just so thankful that the hyperemesis is better than it was with Miriam, because with Miriam it was really awful, and I'm just so thankful that it's not as bad this time. So as I was saying about the blood sugars, when I'm on steroids they make me take my blood sugars 3 times a week. I did the same with Miriam, and my blood sugars were always fine when I was pregnant with Miriam, but I've had a few high blood sugars. And the doctors on Thursday when I went were just a little bit concerned about that, and they wanted me to check them more regularly. So this week I have to check 3 times a day, and alternately I'm checking, one day I'll check before all my meals and then the next day I'll check after all my meals. And I've been doing that for the last 2 days, and I am having high readings every day. Then the diabetes nurse is calling me on Monday to discuss those things, so I'm not sure what they're going to do. They talked about metformin. I'd really only want that as an absolute last resort. I would prefer to manage it through my diet, and I'd prefer to wean the steroids. So that's one of the major reasons why I'm probably going to come off the steroids quite quickly now, and hopefully it won't make me too sick. I am staying on 25 milligrams this week because I'm going away on Monday and I just really want a nice holiday. So they were fine for me to do that, but then when I come back Friday, and then I'll probably go down to 20 and then try and go down 5 milligrams a week, because really what should happen is when I come off the steroids my blood sugars should settle. The last thing I want is to be diagnosed with gestational diabetes and have that added complication. So I would rather come off the steroids, even if it means me getting a little bit sicker, to prevent the gestational diabetes, than stay on the steroids and get gestational diabetes. So, you know, that's just what's going on at the moment. In terms of other symptoms, I'm still getting a lot of pain in my ribs, and actually in the last few days my pain in my ribs is always on my right side, and it kind of goes from the front to all the way to the back and in the middle of my back. But this week I've started to get pain on my left side as well, which is just really annoying. It's so uncomfortable. I can feel it now. It's like quite painful. I just feel really big and stretched and out of breath. I remember in my last pregnancy kind of being like, why does everybody moan about it being so uncomfortable and you're so massive when you're like 20 weeks? Because like I could easily get off the floor and I could easily walk around and things like that, and I just didn't feel so huge. And I was probably bigger actually than I am in this pregnancy, but in this pregnancy I just feel so uncomfortable already, and I don't want to complain because I know it's just going to get worse. But I think what happens is you get periods where you'll have a week or so where the baby just suddenly grows, and then you'll really feel stretched and tight and uncomfortable, and then it levels out a little bit. So I don't think it necessarily gets worse and worse and worse as you get into your 3rd trimester, and you kind of get used to it as well, and your body grows and the baby slows down growing. But when it just grows really quickly and you're just suddenly faced with just being really tight and uncomfortable, it's just a little bit horrible. As well as the rib pain, I've been getting some pelvic pain, but I've been really strict about doing exercises this time. In my last pregnancy, I was too sick to do any exercise, but in this pregnancy, I've been trying to do some prenatal yoga, just watching YouTube videos and doing it by myself in the morning, and just doing some hip flexing exercises, some kind of squat type exercises, and that's been really helpful. And pretty much if I get any pain and I do those exercises for a couple of days, the pain is hugely reduced. I also have exercises for my ribs that were given to me by the physio, which are good, but they just never relieve it completely. It's just always there, this kind of dull ache and pain, and it's just really annoying, but it is what it is. One of the things I'm really loving about being 20 weeks is feeling like I have less weeks to go than I am pregnant. And like I find it funny when people say, oh, you're halfway, because I don't see it as halfway really, because the first 4 weeks you don't even know you're pregnant. So I feel like it's really that I've done 16 weeks and I've still got 20 weeks to go, but I'm 20 weeks pregnant and I've got 19 well, 20 weeks, so I suppose I'm 20 weeks and 5 days pregnant, and I've got 19 weeks and 2 days left to my due date. And I just am trying to think positively like that and not think, oh, all that I've done already I've got to do again. Rather think, you know, I've got less time to go than I am pregnant. So I'm trying to kind of keep that positive attitude about it. You guys know, if you've seen my other videos, I do not enjoy pregnancy. This will be my last baby, which is a shame because I did want a big family, but we'll hopefully extend our family in other ways. I just can't wait for this pregnancy to be over, to be honest. Bring on the summer and bring on August when this baby will be born. The other thing I just wanted to talk about briefly was this book that I ordered the other day, Hypnobirthing. I've seen the Hypnobirthing book by Catherine Graves. I've seen quite a few people on YouTube talk about this book, so I thought that I would just get it. I only got it this week and I'm almost finished. I've only got 2 chapters left. It's really great, I'm really enjoying it, and I really like that it's quite scientific. So it talks about your hormones and the muscles, it talks about the World Health Organization recommendations for birth, and because I was a nurse before, I like that kind of medical standpoint on things, rather than it kind of be wishy-washy hippie type stuff. I kind of tried to do hypnobirthing last time. I did have a beautiful natural birth with Miriam, but I didn't really dive into hypnobirthing because, again, I was just too sick to be able to practice and to read anything or to watch anything even. Just everything made me feel awful and sick, so I kind of just went with the flow and I didn't practice the breathing, things like that. And I researched a lot and I was really knowledgeable, which I think helps massively, like for me at least, because a lot of the decisions about birth I was ready for. The only decision that I would change now is that I let them break my waters to progress my labour, and then it progressed really quickly and it was really intense, and I wouldn't do that this time. But that is also talked about in this book about what's it, artificial rupturing of membranes. They have a section on that in this book, and I found that really helpful reading through that the other day in terms of making decisions for this birth. I'm going to try hypnobirthing in this birth and see how it goes, and I'm hoping I'll have the same kind of positive experience as I did last time, and maybe even more positive, even more hands-off, that I'll be able to dilate more quickly and relax more and just do breathing, and my husband will be able to support me a bit more, because I think last time he felt really scared and not really sure what to do. So we'll just see how that goes. That is kind of what I'm planning. I will do a completely separate video about my whole birth plan, but I'm not going to do that until the 3rd trimester, because I am not even sorted in my head yet about what I do and don't want, definitely. And it's just a bit early to be thinking about that, so I'll do a video on that in my 3rd trimester, and I'll do, you know, what I'm packing in my hospital bag and all those normal videos as well, so stay tuned for that. Oh, I forgot to do a bump shot. So I'll just show you my bump, even though you can pretty much see it in this camera view. But if I just stand up, you can see my bump there. So it's quite big. And there's my bump from the front and from the other side as well. And that's pretty much it for my 20-week pregnancy update. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that I didn't miss anything out. If you do have any questions, then comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye.